Welcome to the Love and Victory Show with Val, where we will bring you candid conversation. In each conversation, we will talk about real life ups and downs while tackling unresolved matters. We will also unmask issues and truly speak straightforward and candid about our needs and brokenness, while allowing ourselves to exhale so that we can become victorious. This is a place where you can be open to the possibilities of living life in abundance while gaining tools to become bold and complete. So let's get to it.
All right. Good morning, and welcome to another edition of to the Love and Victory Show with Val. Oh man, we're gonna have a fantastic show today, and I'm glad, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed what you have heard thus far.
Oh, yeah.
So today we're gonna do things a little bit different than normal. You know, normally you guys would see Justin B. Long virtually all the way from Gainesville, Florida. But today he's here personal, live and in person.
In person.
Yes. And we're going to turn the show over to him to host the show today. How about that?
How about that?
And Justin been with us almost 3 years. Actually from the beginning when we were at another radio station, and even though up to here. And he's been with us every first Saturday since the first time he's been with us. And so we're so elated to have you and so happy that you joined this crew. He's a very integral part of, should I say, of the Love and Victory Show with Val, especially on the Men's Day. But he tunes in on other shows as well throughout the month. So again, we're so happy to have you today, Justin.
I am excited to be here.
Yes, and as you guys will see, you see the host Valerie is sitting over there on the sideline today. She is a special guest today.
I am a guest today.
She's a special guest on her own show today.
Let me tell you how petty they are. They think because it's the men's show, they can put me in different seats and keep me quiet.
Yeah.
Let's see how good they're going to do this. Justin, they brought you all the way down from Florida to try to contain me. Let's see.
I'm just here to be a mediator. I'm sitting in the middle, keep you guys from hurting each other too bad.
You know, like I said earlier, you can take the girl out of the seat, but you can't take the seat out of the girl. You're going to be you wherever you are.
Wherever I'm at.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. And so we also have Brother Darren Dunn in the building today.
Yes.
Darren Dunn, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself before I turn this over to the ranks of Justin here. But introduce yourself, if you will, to the people.
Yep. My name is Darren Dunn. I'm a U.S. vet. And
thank you for your service.
I appreciate that. It means a lot to me. I loved every minute of it. And now I do voiceover. And I also help my wife run a jewelry business. So I make men's jewelry, jewelry with business, with meaning.
Okay, so y'all see Brother Carter got men's, and his wife made me something. Look at this. You guys got to check them out. We'll put it up at the end. It is so beautiful, and all of them have scripture and meaning behind it. You got to check it out. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
I want to add something to that.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Sorry. So before the show, do that one, the third one. Third one. Okay. Before the show,
We're okay.
Before the show, Darren handed me, and it's called Gracelets. I wanted to show y'all. It's called Gracelets, and he was talking to me about it, and I was like, I have heard that. I'm like 90% sure I've met your wife before.
Probably.
Wow.
I think my high school does a craft show, and I remember I had several gracelets. So when you showed me, I even thought of like, oh yeah, I've heard of something like that before, gracelets, and that was the thing. So
Yes.
small world.
It's a
I just
small
wanted to talk
world.
about that.
Small world.
Yep. So we love sharing God's word through jewelry. It's not beating people over the head.
Yeah.
It's not taking the Bible and thumping them. It's going, you know what? You're a man of God. You're a warrior of God. Wear this bracelet proud. God is a reminder of what God's done in your life.
Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Okay, ladies, he's married, so I know y'all hear his voice over there.
He's taken.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
So thank you for being on the show today. And so I'm finna turn this over to you, Justin. I'm gonna let you
Do your thing.
I want you to do this the way you know how to do it.
All right. Well, I
He
would
got
like.
to be introduced.
I would
He
like
gonna
Val.
introduce himself.
I would like Val to introduce herself and tell us who she is.
Oh, okay.
Well, I appreciate that.
You're in the
You
seat
know,
of honor over here.
I appreciate. Well, I am Val, the host normally. Today I am a guest,
Special. Yeah.
special guest on the Love and Victory Show with Val. I can find no better place to be today than to be a guest on the show. So I am Val, the host of the Love and Victory Show.
All right.
Val.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, I have a special self-introduction,
Okay.
as you guys know. So I am going to do a small performance that is no way indicative of anything other than who I am. It's not a reflection of the Love and Victory Show. But anyway.
It is a reflection of the Love and Victory Show. Let's hear it.
DJ, spin the record.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Justin B. Long, and I'm the captain of the boat. But before I get started, let me clear my throat. This show is all about the men of steel, learning from each other how to deal with our feelings. I was a rock bottom drunk from 95 to 08. Shame was the name of my game, but it was too late. I wanted to feel good about myself, not even feel great, but childhood traumas were too much weight. I'm not ashamed that my life was a mess, but I also don't pretend like my parents did their best. They made me feel a certain way about myself, and it took a little while for me to find some mental health. I'm better at 48 than I was at 25. Back then, I wasn't sure I even wanted to be alive. 16 years sober, 10 years of therapy taught me that I have the tools to set myself free. It's hard to represent the race of bigotry and hatred, but I'm here to show the world that there's some who hold them sacred. Because when I learn to love myself, I'm capable of grace. Because when I learn to love myself, the world's a better place. I'm down with the Carter crew and I'm part of their journey. I finally have no need for a defense attorney. I'm living and I'm learning with fewer bridges burning, experiencing the inner peace for which I was a yearning. So grab yourself a pen and prepare to take some notes. Perhaps you'll find some wisdom in our little anecdotes. We're living our best lives and we hope that you will too, because making the world a better place is what we're here to do. Carter Crew. Carter Crew. All right.
Wow.
Man,
There
it is.
That's Justin B. Long at his finest. He's doing his
right.
thing the way he know how to do it.
I'm trying.
All right.
Oh my God.
So today, what we talking about today,
Yeah,
Justin? What we got going on
What's
today?
going on?
Well, we are talking about making excuses and why we do that and the damage that it causes in our lives and the lives of the people around us and the world and culture. Like that stuff rolls like a snowball and
Mhm.
multiplies. And it starts out with me not being bold enough to acknowledge and take responsibility
Yeah.
and just own something that happened. And then it turns into a culture where you can't trust anything anybody says. You know?
Wow.
Like it's a lot. So we're going to tear into that today. Trying to
Before
figure
you
it out.
get started
Yeah.
there, I want to give you another special shout out for that introduction you just did right there.
All right.
And I want the people out there to just go in and show some love to
Show
Justin
some-
for that for that epic rap coming in here. He just he had the music going with it. I mean, you had to enjoy it. So let's see some thumbs up or something that let him
Man.
show some love out there. That's all I want to say.
When
Show
you get
some love.
invited to the barbecue, you got to bring your best coleslaw.
Hey, you brought the coleslaw.
I brought the best coleslaw. I know how to
All
make.
right.
Yeah.
All right. Continue, sir.
Yeah. So, well, there's a lot that we can talk about with making excuses, but I think, as with all things in life, it's like making excuses is a surface thing. Like that's the thing that other people see. That's what goes out into the world, but that's not the problem.
Mhm.
It's just like, when I was a raging alcoholic,
Mhm.
drinking was not my problem. Drinking was a solution to my problem. My problem was how I felt about myself.
Mm.
And making excuses is also like our answer to the problem.
Mhm.
And so I think we need to get intentional about understanding why we do what we do,
Right.
like why we say what we say. And when we know who we are and why we do what we do, then we can make those changes in our life that we want to make, and we can become the person that we're trying to be.
So if you had continued making excuses for the problem you had in your life, you would have continued being a raging alcoholic.
Right. Yep. I would probably turn into my mother-in-law if I can say that on the radio.
Oh,
Well,
man.
on the Love and Victory
I hope
show.
you're talking about an ex-mother-in-law.
No,
not a current.
on the Love and Victory show with Val, we keep it real.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
before we get this show going, we got to do this acronym.
We got to do an acronym.
We got to do this acronym.
Come on.
I was so distracted by Justin.
Yeah,
E.
yeah.
I was like, I feel like we're missing something.
My bad.
No, it was hot.
No, it was so good.
Yes. Oh, we're going to keep that.
Okay.
Yes.
We need you to sign those rights over to us.
That's gonna be a radio somewhere. We'll talk about record deals later.
Yeah.
So as you guys know, we do the acronym of the day to kind of set the tone for the conversation. We're talking about Men of Steel, stop making excuses. So the word of the day is defense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you make excuses, you get defensive.
Right.
So that is
Yes.
a beautiful word, beautiful acronym. Go ahead.
I know. Thank you. D is for dismissive, feeling or showing that something is unworthy of consideration.
Wow.
E is for enthusiastic, excited to do something. F is for feeble, lacking in strength. E is for exploitative, taking advantage of others. N is for narrow, limited in size or scope. S is for stationary, not moving, staying still. E is for exhausting,
Oh my
very
God.
tiresome or wearisome.
Yeah, you're getting on my nerves.
My last nerve. I'm so tired of your excuses.
I'm
I'm
exhausted.
exhausted from your excuses. What we gonna do about that today?
I think it probably gets exhausting trying to make excuses all the time. You got to be dreaming stuff up and remembering all the lies you
The
told
lies
people.
you told.
So true.
Wow.
So true. It's a lot to carry around.
Well, I think it's time to just jump into the show.
Well, thank you for the acronym.
That was
That was a good
excellent.
acronym.
Oh, we got a little comment
Uh-oh.
from Susan
They starting already. Susan, wait till
for
the end.
Justin.
Okay, Justin.
Justin, I'm saying it for the fourth time. Just change your work and be a rapper.
Oh, man.
Oh, thank you, Susan. Okay, let's go there.
All right. I don't know if my wife will go for that.
No.
She got a lot for me to do, but that's all right. I'm not making excuses about that either.
All righty.
Yeah.
So you have any questions for the
Yeah,
crew?
well, come on with it. You
All right.
sitting in that seat.
I think I'd like to start off with some examples, some real life examples of where you find yourself in a position of having to decide, am I going to make an excuse or am I going to own what just happened or talk about
Wow.
the truth of
Can
the
you get out of
situation?
my business?
No, that's what I flew all the way out here to be in your business.
Oh my God. Well, I'm just gonna
That's what the Love and Victory show with Val do.
get in your
Get in your
business.
That's right.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. In my business, I found out that I thought things to be one way when I found out it was another way, which means that I could have either just made excuses or do what I did, roll up my sleeve and got in it and just owned it, worked through it and fix it and keep it pushing.
Right.
I think one of the worst things we can do as individuals is make excuses and not be accountable for our actions, or for someone that you're responsible for.
Right.
You are responsible for the people that you put in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And so instead of sitting there making excuses about, oh, it wasn't me, I didn't do, I owned that crap and kept it pushing. And actually, it spoke to my character.
Absolutely.
And literally what ended up happening, it actually validated who the people thought I was, so just own it.
So in that moment, when you have that knee-jerk reaction to make an excuse right now, what are you feeling?
Fear. Literally, I want to be, if I can be very honest, I was gripped with fear because immediately the enemy came in and said, see, you thought you was this. It's all over. You're going to lose it.
Right.
They're going to see you for what you thought you were. They're going to see that you're not all of that. And I had to just kind of sit back on my lawns and just say, you know what? I'm going to trust in who I am and who I am in him. And I'm not going to fall for the trick because it's really a trick.
Right.
It's all a mind game. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to keep walking in integrity.
Right.
I'm going to keep doing what's right. I'm not going to throw the blame at anybody else. I'm going to hold, this was mine.
Right.
I should have known, I should have done, I should have seen. Okay, I'm gonna own it and keep it pushing.
Yeah, and I believe I'll add on to that. The truth of the matter, I believe, is that fear cripples a lot of people from making a change in their lives. It's easy to hold on to what's normal, should I say?
And unfortunately, that fear is normal.
Yeah, and the fear is normal, but the fear of change cripple a lot of people, a lot of us. I'm gonna say a lot of us because I'm in that number as well.
Yes.
Because I make excuses for not doing. I can be a lot further than I am at this particular time in my life. I could be, and I should be, but I've crippled myself to where I'm not.
Right.
And so we have to stop making excuses. And I'm talking to myself right now.
Come on now, that's what we do.
I have to stop making excuses. Stop sitting around thinking that, everything is okay just the way it is. I'm cool. I'm comfortable.
Even if it's bad, it's comfortable.
Yeah. Even if it's bad, I'm comfortable. So I have to want, for lack of better words, to want to do something more or better for myself.
Right.
Yes.
And I think that's something that we need to look into as individuals.
Wow.
And that's so true. It's a cycle for me. It's a cycle. So it starts with fear, like you said, Brother Carter. It starts with fear. And then all of a sudden I make that excuse, and all of a sudden it's shame.
Yes. Yes.
I feel shameful for making that excuse. So then how do I get out of that shame? I try to come up with another excuse.
There you go. You dig a hole deep.
Excuse.
Yes. I'm sorry. This is a men's show. Keep going.
Sorry, that's what I wanted to get across.
You're still in that seat. You're still in the
That's
seat.
right.
Yeah.
So it takes time to develop that awareness, right? To learn how to override that urge. But so like when you were younger, you have all of this concern about your image and what other people think of you. Like we're trying to spend so much energy trying to manage other people's opinions of us.
Wow.
Is there a point, Darren, in your life when like you felt that change starting to take place and you decided that, I need to just, get past the excuses and start being real?
But, to be honest, I think even as adults, we still try to sometimes meet an image.
Sure, absolutely.
I think we still have that in us. But I started about 6 years ago is when I started seeing the change. And you're talking 50 years old, 48 years old. And what it was is getting completely crushed in life, losing everything that I had ever, held dear, including my reputation. So when you are crushed to that level and there's not an image for you to keep up anymore, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, I need to stop making excuses.
Yes.
But what I've found even more interesting than that is, even though I've been through this healing process over the past 6 years, there's still time that old self comes back. I still exactly speaking. And all it is a whisper, right?
Yes.
It's just a whisper. It's just this whisper in
They say boys will be boys, and it's like that term. It's just, we never grow out of it. Seem like.
I think we don't want to grow out of it because it's familiar and it's comfortable.
Yeah.
But we can push past it if we say, and I love that you said that boys will be boys and we never grow out of it, because that's literally how we feel sometimes. It's just easier to stay in that familiar place versus saying, you know what, I just can't do this anymore.
Right.
I can't allow myself to keep losing, because that's literally what you're doing.
And for women, they're feelers. Us men,
oh my God, you have
logical, man.
Man, my wife and I, we started this little thing where you got to go through these emotion wheel and talk about our emotions, and I'm going, this is
girly stuff.
So, but the healing that's come through that has been crazy. And I was taught as a young kid just to do away with the negative emotions and focus on the positive ones, like joy. But get rid of anger, get rid of hurt. I don't focus on those. And so this process, it's been a process. And that's why I was kind of curious to see where you were going to go with the whole process.
All those feelings are there, like male or female. And part of being able to be your true authentic self is learning how to recognize and deal with those feelings instead of either A, trying to crush them, or B, get swept away by them, Yep. It's a lot to go through.
Yeah.
But I think it's so important to do that, though, because that's when you can become a complete whole person instead of just an element of a person, pieces and angles.
And Justin, that depending on, there's a healthy way and there's an unhealthy way. And I'll let you speak to that. That,
let's talk about that.
I think that, you talked about hitting kind of a rock bottom, but rock bottom can really be a wonderful opportunity to strip away all the crap and start from scratch.
I like to call it a trampoline.
Yeah.
Because when you bounce down and when you hit that thing, if you really, really want change, and if you're really not trying to just stay stuck or you don't want to, you can bounce back up.
Yeah.
Let me give you a quick example. This morning I'm driving in on, what's this road right out here? 1960. Hitting every green light. Wow. And I'm like, thank you, God, for letting me hit every green light. Right. But what happens when we hit every red light?
Then the world's against us,
That's the first thing we think.
Yeah. And our slow down. Everything stop.
We oftentimes when we hit every red light, we're not thanking God. We're cursing God. Right? Wait a minute,
Yes.
But it's true, Justin. It falls in line with what you're saying.
Yeah. Wynonna Jed said way back in the day that when you hit rock bottom, you got two choices. You can go straight up or sideways. And I think a lot of people just go sideways, kind of stay at the bottom, like going up requires a lot of hard work.
Right.
That's the thing right there.
Like you gotta want to change, and you gotta be putting a lot of effort into that.
And the vast majority, I believe, like I said earlier, get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Right.
And so how can we get out of that place of comfortability when we don't recognize it as being uncomfortable?
That's good. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's that complacency conversation that we had last month.
Well, let's go back with it.
Yeah, it is such a trap that and automation is a big part of what our brain does, because you can't think about everything that you do all day long. You can't think, I got to breathe in, I got to blink, I got to keep my balance as I'm taking a step. Your brain automates all these things, and we automate our responses to things too. Wow. And a lot of what you're talking about, like those old knee-jerk reactions still pop up all the time. That stuff is automated in our brain, and those synapses are firing as a result of repetitive motion. And we've laid that track down over and over and over. We know that that's what we're going to do, right? Yeah. And so we have to install a manual override in our brain, and that involves becoming conscious about our behavior. Like, what happens when I do this? A plus B equals C. When I do this, that's going to happen. And you have to start thinking about this stuff and get out of that automated mode and start driving the car.
How do men do that? I mean, this is Men of Steel. So how do all of our brothers from another mother, how do they, when they're either dad wasn't present,
right,
or they had an overbearing mom, or how do men
really
come out of that?
You're just gonna sit next to me and say, "Oh, really?" Okay.
I think
rolled her eyes.
We already had a great example of that.
Don't be triggered.
When you say something and someone else reacts to it, listen to what they say.
Yeah.
Brother Carter said, "I will allow you," and everybody
you ain't got to bring up old stuff, Justin.
Is he gonna come back and host the show? He gonna bring it back.
But everybody said something. And he listened to that, and he took that moment to learn, okay, when I said this, that happened. That's not who I want to be. Let me change that. Right. Next time I will say this.
Yes.
You got some comments down there?
I have a comment and a question. Y'all know I like to get my input. I know it's Men of Steel, but it's Women's Month.
See that? There they go, making excuses. You don't have to make an excuse. You just want to talk. Just say no.
And I will.
And she can.
It's Women's Month, so I don't know. That's an excuse.
Darren said something about using kind of maybe your circumstances and like the way you grew up as like a way to be like, well, I'm this way because XYZ. And y'all, I'm gonna do a little tidbit. Y'all know I love reality TV. Right. I'm obsessed with Love is Blind right now. Well, one of the guys on Love is Blind, he's like engaged to this woman, and he keeps saying like, well, my father cheated on my mom. My father cheated on my mom. They were married for 24 years. He cheated for 17 of those years. He took me on infidelity trips. He goes, so I don't know if I can be a good husband. And this is a point that he keeps making excuses.
Wow.
So my question to you guys is, what would you say to someone who feels like they're a victim of their circumstance?
Oh, she threw it at you guys. I'm gonna sit back on this one.
I think you get that excuse one time, And if you recognize the circumstance that you're a victim of, then you're already not a victim of it anymore.
Right.
You got
Wow.
to move out of that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right.
wow.
Like-
I
You know?
love that.
And that goes back to making excuses,
Exactly.
being a
It
victim
does.
of your circumstances.
Yep.
Yeah.
The
You don't
victim of
have to
circumstance
remain
is an
in-
excuse.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, I was dealt bad cards.
Yeah.
Or, I didn't get this, and that. You got to get your way out of it.
hmm
You
Yeah.
can't use that as a
See,
crutch.
we can use the Wilma Rudolph.
Oh,
Right.
Right.
wow. There you go.
Yeah.
But if
victim
we-
of circumstance, being crippled as
Yeah.
a child,
Yeah.
and becoming one of the fastest ladies
In the
ever
In the
in the
world.
world.
Yeah. But if we're going to get real,
Okay.
Mhm.
Oh.
I
we're
love
going to
it.
get real.
I
I'm
What,
mixing it up.
what about the guy who his daddy taught him to sell drugs because an 8-year-old wouldn't get the sentence that his daddy would. So when somebody pulls up to his yard and he goes out, he says, run this out to him. He's running a bag of pot or whatever out to the
Mhm.
guy, out to the car, and then comes back. That's what he's been taught.
Right.
That's now become part of his identity.
Right.
And
Right.
he can use that as an excuse for the rest of his life,
Right.
going, but this is what my daddy taught me.
Taught me.
How does a guy like that come out?
Ooh,
Mhm.
that's the
I had a rough childhood. Like my dad did a lot of things to me and my mom, both. Like my mom was not a disciplinarian, but so when she felt like she needed to punish me, I had to bring in the big trash cart from out at the road and sit in that until my dad got home to give me a spanking because my mom didn't
what
feel
do
like
you
she could
mean,
spank me.
trash cart? I'm
The
confused.
big, like the trash dumpster that you put your trash bags in that goes down to the road, the trash truck comes around, picks it up. I had to
They
sit in
live
that.
out in the country.
That was my timeout
Yeah.
spot when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I formed a lot of negative self-beliefs because my primary caregivers taught me that I didn't have any value and that I would never do anything right.
Right.
And like all my insecurities as an adult are a result of those childhood experiences.
Right.
Right. And that is a legitimate excuse for me to have been a raging alcoholic, for me to be a horrible employee, a horrible teammate, a horrible spouse. I did a lot of cheating in my first relationship because I needed acceptance from another person so bad that I was willing to do anything that I could do to get that acceptance, even if it only lasted for a day. And then
Right.
tomorrow I would try again to get somebody to accept me and love me for who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And that was an excuse until the day I recognized what was happening. And then it's no longer an excuse. Once I
Right.
recognize there are things that happened that make me the way I am, and I have the power through therapy or, whatever resources that are
Yeah,
available
yeah.
to me to change that,
Mm-hmm.
then I don't have that excuse anymore because now I know.
Yeah.
And once you know better, you have to
Start
do better.
Right. Right.
Wow.
Right.
So in other words, what I'm hearing you say is that things happen, and yes, you have to work through that, but you work through it with therapy. You work through it with someone that you
Mhm.
trust that's going to give you real feedback. This is not healthy. You can't do this. This is not right. There is no excuse that you have to say this is your life to go out there and run drugs because this is what your dad taught you. It was wrong.
Right.
Mhm.
It was wrong. So someone has to be honest
Mhm.
with the individual that is walking in this thing thinking, well, I'm comfortable in this. It's nothing wrong with this. No, it's not okay.
Yeah.
That's
let
not
me
okay.
let me go back on what you just a little bit of what you just said. It takes community, right?
Yes.
It takes community.
Yes.
So oftentimes us men, we want to stick to ourselves.
Mhm.
I can do this on my own. My daddy taught me to be a man's man.
Right.
I
Right.
can do this on my own. I'm
Oh.
sure, Brother Carter, you're the same
Mhm.
way.
Yes.
Justin, you were the same way. Us men, we can do it number one, I don't need a woman
Mhm.
Yes.
telling me what to do. I don't need anybody else telling me what to
Mhm.
do. I can do this on my own.
Mhm.
And what I discovered is I need a community.
That you
Right.
lied
And
to yourself. Yeah.
because it's Women's Month,
Mhm.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Look at she woke up
do.
on that.
We need wise women because I can tell you, a wise woman
Yeah.
like my wife,
Mhm.
she'll put me in my place in a
Right.
very loving way.
Right.
But we need that community, whether it's a therapist or a counselor, whatever that is.
Mhm.
People like you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
We need that
It
community.
can start at home
Yeah.
because your significant other is going to be more honest with you than anybody else
Mhm.
most of the time.
Yes, sometimes that hurts.
Right.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt.
Yeah.
Especially,
Well, I think
the things that you
that's-
need to hear are going to hurt.
And I think that's the safe place to be.
Right.
How can we say that this is home, but we can't be honest with one another?
Right.
You
You got to be able to hear what they're saying
even
too.
Mhm.
when Brother Carter comes and says something to me that I don't want to hear at the
Mhm.
moment, I may react to what he's saying.
Mhm.
Yeah,
When
because
I-
sometimes it's a trigger. Yeah.
It can be.
Mhm.
It Yeah.
It probably will be.
It will be. And so what I do is just give me my moment. I walk back into my space, and then I need that peace time to be like, own it. You know what? He was right.
Yeah.
And then I can come back out and have a conversation. So the people that you can't say that he loves you or she loves you and not hear from them. You're laying there with them every day. They love you. They're there with you. So you have to.
When you're going to have that conversation with your wife or your husband or whoever it is, your friend, like you need to preface this with, this is coming from a place of love. And if you're on the receiving end of that, you need to repeat to yourself, create that automated memory.
Yes.
This is coming at me from a place of love, even though it hurts. This is a thing of love, and I need to embrace that and know that this is a growth moment for me.
And I do think that is so good, because I do think that even in that moment, you're gonna naturally want to go to a defense.
Absolutely.
Right.
The natural thing is to go to
natural
defense.
instinct.
You are attacking me. But if you really can get that out the way and look at the person.
Yeah, sometimes I would like stop and just look who's saying something to you. This is not a stranger. I'm not a stranger.
Well, you know, but sometimes, so he's talking about me, but I'm gonna talk about you.
No, I'm just saying to those that are out there that are going through things
but I'm saying
like we are going through. That don't want to listen to each other sometimes.
But I'm gonna go back to you too, because sometimes it's the same thing. You know, we tend to not want to hear one another, because that's no one but the enemy trying to keep us, because as long as they keep us battling with each other, you can't get to that place of healing. You can't get to that place of peace. And so we have to recognize, and what always works for me, it may not work for you, but it works for me. Give me that moment, just a second, to go into that quiet moment, to get out of my feelings and my emotions, so that I can truly hear.
Right.
You understand? Because the more you come at me, there is going to be a defense.
Well, the other thing that's happening there is that when it's your loved one, you don't have a defensive shield up between you and that person. So like small things go straight to the heart, because you don't have a shield, and you shouldn't have a shield. Like a stranger out the street can say anything in the world to me. I've got that shield up there. It might sting a little bit, but it's not going to cut to the bone.
Right.
Your loved one, you know, keep in mind, there is no shield up.
There is no shield. Wow.
But I'd like to take a moment to, not take over your show or not, but like to get some of the comments from the people out there if we could.
Yeah, we have some good ones.
I like them to be engaged and engage themselves into the show.
I like this one from Sharina Black.
Hi, Sharina. Sharina is a newbie.
We know her.
I don't know her, but
I know her.
You know her. Welcome to I pay attention. Welcome to the Carter Crew, Sharina.
Yes. She said, you can either choose to have a victim mentality, or you can choose to say the buck stops with me, and you can turn a generational excuse to a generational stepping stone to get out of that mindset.
Come on, Jesus.
That's
Come
right.
on, Sharina.
She ate with that.
She ate that, baby. You left no crumbs on the table.
And that's one of the, I think, one of the biggest issues in life, that we don't want to recognize we're in a toxic place in our lives, and therefore we continue to make excuses. And then I hope when this show is over, before this show is over, we can help someone, guide someone to get out of a toxic situation by recognizing that they are in a toxic
or
situation.
they may be the toxic person.
They could be.
I was
the toxic person.
I was the toxic person in my relationship for a very long time.
Because a lot of times you don't recognize yourself as being the problem, because you're so familiar with what you're doing and what you're saying that you don't know that you are the problem.
When you're pointing the finger at everybody else.
It's like, wow.
When you feel miserable all the time, like you're just like, you're miserable at work, you're miserable at home in your relationship.
Something wrong with you, huh?
And you need to work on you.
Right.
Yes.
It's a problem everywhere you go for some reason. So people not just picking on you.
Sometimes it is, but let's just go back there. There's sometimes you have such a light on you, and you're trying to go into dark. And I don't want to discount that. Sometimes when you have you walk around with such a light on you, and you don't even realize your God is taking you into dark places to shine some light. There's going to be some attack on you because that light is not, and I'm not saying that that's always the situation, but I do believe that sometimes God
there are instances like
people that he chooses people to go and shine light somewhere. What's your thought on that? I'm sorry.
It's true. It's so true, because when you're heading into that place and you know that God's called you to wherever that is, that place, and it feels uncomfortable, it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel good, you can two options.
One or two things.
You can make excuses, which we're talking about right now. So stop making excuses, or you can just choose to go into that place, but you understand that there will be attacks.
Yes.
There will be. But what we have the weapons to defend against those attacks. That's why I created the men's bracelet.
Yeah.
And I'm going to add to that. You have the ability to know that you're in a dark place, and you have the rightful position to pick yourself up and leave that spot too.
Well, sometimes God doesn't call for you to leave that spot. I believe that sometimes God calls for you to go into that spot and it's a season.
I'm just talking about if it's a damaging place for you in your life, you need to exit you need to remove yourself from that 100%. Place if it's damaging to you.
And a lot of times we refer to women doing that, right? They're in a toxic relationship. They're in a relationship with a man that beats them. We don't often talk about men being in there.
Ooh.
So that a lot of times men are in that place too. And we need to make sure that as men, we see that.
Well, I think we need to stay right there, but we're going to take
wait. You're not the host of the show.
No, we got a lot more thoughts on that, but we're going to take a quick break, pay some bills, and we will be right back.
And we are back.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Not what Brother Carter would say. All right. We are having a fantastic show today. And it is time to get over to some shout outs and talk about what L&V's got going on. So Abigail, take it away.
Yes. We have a lot of stuff going on. But for starters, I actually want to introduce a new milestone. A new milestone that we hit. Woo! We actually hit 30,000 subscribers on Thursday on our YouTube channel.
That is amazing.
Yes, so I'm super proud of the Love and Victory Show platform. We've grown a lot. We hit 15K only, I think it was like at the end of December. Yeah. So we've now doubled. And I just want to really give a huge shout out and a thank you to all of our Carter crew members for helping us get to 30K.
Hey,
wow.
Awesome. Thank you.
Wow.
And then along those lines, because our audience is growing and because we want to, say thank you to you guys, we are actually, and keep growing, we are actually going to be hosting a live in-person event. So we've kind of been teasing this a little bit.
Yes. It's official.
But it is official. It is ready to go.
So it looks like we're going into the theaters.
That's right. Yeah. That's what it is. This is a live show, you guys. This is called LV with Val on the road.
Yeah.
We are going to take the show into a remote location. It's Phil and Derek's here in Houston. If you're in the Houston area, shout out to Phil and Derek's. You can scan the QR code up on the screen right now, and you are able to get tickets. We have different tiers of tickets available with different things included. Guys, it is going to sell out. It is going to sell out quick. So go ahead and get your tickets. It's on April 24th. It's on a Wednesday. It's going to be like the Love and Victory Show.
But it's going to be.
But it's going to be different. But it's not going to be it.
Let me tell you, they're turning the tables on us. So all I can tell you, they're going to put a mic in your hand and y'all are we're going to flip the script.
Yes. And if you're tuning in and you can't scan the QR code, just go on Eventbrite and look up LV with Val on the road. It should pop right up. And we have those tickets available. It's going to be so much fun.
Oh my God.
We're going to encourage audience engagement, and you guys can ask questions in real time.
Yes.
There's going to be drinks and food.
Oh yeah.
Is that still going to be broadcast live?
Yes. It'll also be live if you're unable to attend.
We need you to attend.
But
if you're out of state, out of the country.
We've got people all over the world listening to this show. This ain't local anymore.
Say it again.
All over the world.
All over the world.
And really, you don't want to miss it because some of the people will be have a few cocktails or beverages, should I say?
So ain't no telling what
I was gonna
questions they're
say,
gonna
yeah.
ask.
Y'all are trusting them to ask
Yeah.
questions.
They're gonna ask us questions, and guess what? We're gonna be required to answer them.
That's right.
Because on the Love and Victory show with Val, we keep it real. We tell the
We keep
truth.
it really
100.
So
real.
you're saying this
100.
is the first time you're doing this, but it may also be the last,
No, it will
We
never
don't,
be the
we don't
last.
want it to be.
We
the
don't
last.
want.
depending on how that goes.
Yeah. I might get kicked out. Who knows?
Well, I do believe that there is healing with truth, and there is healing with conversation. So if we tell the truth, it's going to, and we go through this healing process, it's going to be infectious. So it's
Right.
going to pop off on me, you, the
Yeah.
next person. Oh my God.
It's
Yes.
gonna be
Yes.
like a smile, huh?
That's how you change culture.
That's how you change it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, as you guys know, we also have our nonprofit L&V Enterprise Resources Inc.
Mhm.
We just did our Valentine's event last month, and
Oh
we
my
actually
God.
have a new event for you
Oh
guys to mark
God.
your calendars
Yeah.
for.
Bam.
Bowling and brunch. We did this back in December. It was such a huge success. We had so much fun. Brother Carter killed it. He won by a landslide.
A landslide.
So he is the one to beat this time.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna have teams. We're gonna have like prizes. We're gonna have raffles. We're gonna have food. We're gonna have drinks. It's gonna be so much fun.
I think you're leaving out. We are actually doubling the space.
Oh
Yes.
yes, double.
We are doubling the space. So hey guys, we last year we thought we had enough lanes based off of the feedback we got and all the people trying to get in when we shut it down. We needed to double the space. So
Mm.
we are doubling the space. And remember, we are bowling for someone outside of
Yeah.
ourselves.
And so
That's
do they have to
Yes.
purchase tickets for this?
Yes.
as well?
Yes,
Okay.
the tickets will become available, and we'll definitely let you guys know through social media and here on the show.
Yes.
But if you want to mark your calendars so you don't book
Yes.
your vacations, it is
I'll
on
put it up
June
there.
30th.
Yes.
June
So that's a
30th.
Sunday, right?
It's a Sunday,
Sunday,
yes.
June 30th, from 2 to 4 p.m. And we are
That's
last
the
time
Sunday
we did,
before the 4th of July.
it
Yes.
is the Sunday before the 4th of July.
Mhm.
So save
So
your
no excuse.
vacation. Yeah,
Exactly.
No
Yeah.
excuses. huh?
save it for the next week.
Yeah.
Wait, I want to say something. Why is he striking a pose like he is? He knew he was the
'Cause he
knew
won.
he winning.
You
He
knew
know
you
he
just
was-
bowled a
you
strike.
know, look at Brother Carter. Brother Carter said, "I am the one to come for."
What do you bowl about a 290?
I don't know what that pose is. There.
No, that pose was you was actually rolling it, and you came back and you were like, "Yeah,
'Cause you
beat
won.
this." You were like, "Beat this," because you had strike. You had hit a strike.
Okay, I did
Yeah.
a lot of those.
Yeah.
Of course, with L&V, we always want to, do something for the community. So
Yeah.
last time we did a toy drive. This time we are doing a back to school supplies drive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Backpacks, notebook paper.
Everything
All
that they
those
need
kinds
to
of
go back to
binders.
school.
And in the midst of it all, we're still trying to do things for the disabled community.
Yeah,
So in
that's
the
right.
midst of it all, so
Yeah.
we want to
Yes.
keep that in the front of everything that we're doing.
Yes.
Yes. And one last quick shout out. If you guys are interested in advertising with us, you can reach out at info@lvwithval.com or call us at 832-913-1359. Our business hours are from Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 5. If you want to advertise your business or do some sponsoring or even start your own radio show, hit me up.
All right, all right.
Right.
Sounds good.
Now,
Now.
Oh, wonderful.
it is time for Q&A. You guys can drop some questions there in the comments. Do we have any, Anna?
Yes, we do. First one is, what if your obstacles are your close ones?
Say that again.
From
Say it again.
Elizabeth. What if your obstacles are your close ones? I guess your loved ones?
Your family members.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna sit back and let the men handle
Mm.
that.
Well,
That's a very good question.
what you where
right.
you want to go with this?
Well, I have some immediate thoughts on that.
Okay.
There is in our culture, I think, or a lot of cultures, family is presented as being the most important thing that there is.
Mhm.
But if you are in a toxic family, that's not the most important thing that there is. And sometimes it's okay to get out of that.
Yes.
And for me, chosen family has been where I found my success. And I had to get out. The most important lesson that I ever learned, I think, from my mentor was that the only obligation that I have is the one that I put on myself. So I don't have a familial obligation to anybody unless I'm imposing that on myself.
Wow.
Mhm.
So then that's not the case for everybody. If it's just, challenging people, it doesn't mean you cut them out of your life because they're challenging. But if it's
Mhm.
toxic and those people are destructive to you, I think you remove those people from your life
Mhm.
and find a replacement for them.
And get to a healthy place,
That's right.
because you're going to exert that onto someone else. That behavior that is hurt that's coming to you, and you don't do anything about it, it is literally gonna go back to someone else.
I'd like to add on to that also on the flip side of that, like marriages, a lot of people are so fast to give up on family and marriages and things of that nature. You know, I'm an opponent of not being so fast at giving up on what's.
There's a difference between being difficult and being toxic,
I mean,
right?
it is,
and you have to be able to recognize.
Right, you have to recognize, but you don't just because somebody hurt your feelings,
you don't throw in the towel.
Right. You know, hang in there just a little bit longer. It'll turn out okay for you sometime. And if you realize it can't turn around for you, separate yourself from it.
I agree with you on that, because when it comes to a marriage, you should have made a commitment with God, not with man and not with self. However, if you're and when it comes to family is very important, but sometimes just like in religion, it becomes just a tradition of what we're doing. I'm supposed to let my family walk over me. I'm supposed to let my family. No, what I'm saying.
Not walk over.
No, listen to what hear me out. I'm supposed, that's family. So, you know, I got to love them anyway. Well, I've been taught in the church that, turn the other cheek. Well, okay, what does that mean? Sometimes you understand what sometimes you have to stop back. You have to stop and say, you know what? This is unhealthy.
Right.
It's kind of like having Justin, when he did something wrong as a child, to go out. His mom have him get in the trash can.
Right.
His mom was the most important, should have been the most a protector, but she didn't. And I'm not here to pass judgment, but obviously we can see how traumatic that was.
Right.
But we don't see how traumatic when we have loved ones that are doing things to us that's hurtful, because we've been taught, or we're in the church and we say, turn the other cheek. Yeah. We've been taught, well, we're in the church. God expects us to turn the other cheek. No.
Yeah, no, you're right. But all I'm saying is this is the only point I want to make.
Okay.
Don't be so fast to give up on your loved one.
Right.
That's the only point I want to make.
I would say there's a lot of strong oak trees out there, marriage oak trees, that have endured a Hurricane Harvey. So
I love that.
Sometimes it takes that storm, it takes that bad weather to strengthen a marriage.
Yes.
Toxicity is totally different, isn't it, Justin?
It is.
And so you have to be able to see
the
both
difference.
sides.
Yes.
See the difference.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a time to extend grace, and then there's the time to defend yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think the more you get to know yourself and understand who you are and what it is that you're reacting to, the easier it is to discern if the problem is in you or if it's in the other person.
Right. Exactly.
And what it is that's driving their behavior.
Well, don't expect me to admit it's me.
99.9%.
of the time.
Yeah. All right, what else we got?
What else we got?
From Susan, does being weak can be an excuse to stay in a toxic relationship?
Wow, I think that's a lot of what we just talked about.
Yeah.
It's like that is a trap.
Yeah.
I think also, I think people are forgetting that relationships, marriages are supposed to be for growth.
Yes.
There's you challenge each other. Life is challenging you together. And a lot of people forget that, I feel like. And that's why they're so quick to just give up instead of facing the challenge and growing out of that. And for that, they just, I don't want to do it.
I don't want to deal with it.
But then they're stuck in their life and then they're wondering, why haven't I advanced? Why haven't I?
Because they did not listen to the vows that were said.
And what were they, baby? Because you added
know the
something.
vows.
You added something to ours.
I don't know the vows. I said, what are the vows?
You don't know? Well, how you stay with me 45 years?
Love and
Said, I'll do whatever you tell me.
You always have the last word. Yes, dear.
I live by the scripture that says, husbands, love your wife as Christ has loved the church. That's the vow I live by.
All right.
Donald is asking Justin, when you were in your hardest time in your life, who supported you the most?
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's a good question.
Hey, Donald.
That's a tough question.
Yeah.
You know, I spent a lot of time alone. I was a very typical victim of circumstance, I think, and that I retreated inward and tried to pretend like everything was fine. So I didn't lean on anybody. And for a lot of my life, I didn't have anybody to lean on. But I think by the time I was in my early 20s and out on my own, I was in a lot of pain. I was damaged, and I moved in with the first woman that was willing to sleep with me twice. And I leaned on her, and I stayed with her for 11 years. And we didn't have anything in common. It was not a good relationship, but that was someone who was willing to put up with me and let me be who I was in all of my brokenness until I could get to a place where I was ready to heal. So, but
You're
I wouldn't
talking
recommend
about
that
some
route.
vulnerability.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's some vulnerable shit for you right there.
Wow.
All right. Time for final thought.
Well, before I go to the final thought, I have to say, honestly, the fact that you said that, because men are so quick to clam up. And I saw something when they read the question, I saw you initially go, and then you went like, no, I'm going to come real. And I think that, I initially saw you get to this, and this is why it's so good to have men like you guys on this platform talking, because initially it's a natural reaction for a man to get into this stance of, I got to be here.
Yeah.
And it was a trigger. And then you just, I got to answer this question. So I appreciate you so much.
Amen.
We got some shout outs for you too. They're saying, Herman is saying, I just want you to know, Justin, whatever you have gone through your life, you did your best and you're in your best condition today. Proud of you.
Oh, wow.
Thanks, Herman.
Good.
Adelia said Justin rocks. He had the courage to not only say the buck stops here, but he brought light into the darkness. He turned on the GPS to the road of healing and the discovery of the best version of yourself. He's amazing. Hope he will host again.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
I love you, Justin.
That's my aunt right there. That's my dad's sister.
Did you have to pay her $20?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Oh, wow.
I want to talk about that for just a second, because I think it's so important. Like, the guy that did so much damage to me was her brother.
Wow.
And they had a very tight relationship growing up. And I think her watching me go through this, it's been very painful for her, right? Like it's like, it's never just you that's going through something.
Yes.
Like everybody that's on the periphery of that is impacted too. So I appreciate Adelia being here today and being a part of my life, because she didn't have to be. And she chose.
That's good.
Thank
That's
you,
good.
Adelia.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Is he still alive? Your dad?
No, he died.
He died?
Yeah.
Question is, did you forgive him?
I did.
Before?
Oh, not before he died. No, years. I was still drinking when he died.
Okay.
That was, no, that went on for years after that.
Okay.
Like he'd been dead for 15 years, and I was still trying to get approval from him. Still living.
So you
my
finally,
life to try to.
you finally freed yourself.
Did you hear what he just said?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we can't skate by that. I'm gonna let you get it since it's the man.
Well, what I was going to say is I have an even deeper question. Did you ever forgive yourself for all that?
I did,
and that's important.
It is. That's the power of trauma therapy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Trauma therapy has allowed me to revisit everything negative in my life and change the emotions that I have about what happened and about who I am in those moments, which changes my understanding of who I am today. And forgiveness of self and others is a big part of that.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question, Dee Dee, because I was just asking my coworkers just the other day that same question. I say, who is the hardest person in the world to forgive?
Self.
Absolutely.
And they pondered and pondered and pondered, trying to think of who the hardest person in the world was to forgive. It is oneself.
Yeah.
And it starts with you
have to,
for your healing. You got to start. I can't even start to see what someone has done to me if I'm unwilling to forgive myself.
Right. Forgiveness is just like love. Like it has to happen internally before it can happen externally.
Yeah. Because if you don't forgive yourself, you find yourself being in that cycle.
Right. You'll always be in a negative headspace.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Final thoughts.
All right.
Final thoughts. Oh, okay.
Darren, you want to go first? What'd you get out of today?
Wow. What did I get out of today? I'll tell you what I got out of today.
On the Love and Victory Show.
What I got out of today is being, it's weird, being behind a microphone in a group of people that are just real. And I started my cut the crap with being real. And a lot of that, I told you guys, a lot of that was aimed at me because I want to be authentic. I want to be real. I don't want to be somebody that everybody thinks I should be. So being in a room with you guys, all of you guys, and seeing y'all's real selves and being real to people, woo, that feels good.
Okay.
So first experience on this show, I enjoyed this.
I hope it's not your last.
Oh, it won't
hope
be.
so.
Let me tell you, it won't be signed the papers.
All right, guest Valerie, how was your experience today?
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm a little biased when it comes to the men's show. I absolutely love it. But I have to say, Brother Carter, this has been one of the best shows we have had on the Love and Victory show with Val, Men of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
I literally have had men of steel around us being very vulnerable, not just scratching the surface, but going down under. I've learned from you guys. I've enjoyed being a part of this. And my brother, coming down here and sitting in the seat I feel so honored. I feel so honored that you honor me and your brother so much that you would want to be on this platform and be a part of this family. So I'm just so grateful.
I love you guys so much. I wouldn't be anywhere else.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, God.
All right. I want to send a super shout out to the team at the other end of the table.
Yeah.
Abigail and Anna do such an amazing job every week putting this show together.
All right.
So we'll get some final thoughts from you guys.
Yes, they do.
All
right, Anna.
Awesome job.
Anna, what's your thoughts on today?
Oh, well, I thought it was amazing show. It made me send it to my ex. I thought, stop making excuses. No, it's wonderful to see how far you've come across, and it just started from recognition, finding your community, forgiving yourself, and just man up, woman up to your life, to yourself. And no, I think it was an amazing show. Great conversation, guys. I
Awesome.
loved it.
Awesome.
This is what Men of Steel is supposed to be all about, right? Like, there's this kind of idea that men are supposed to be like, oh, nothing gets to me, like I don't have emotions, or I can handle anything. So I like that, we have gentlemen on that are like able to dig deep and to admit, I'm not perfect. I've never been perfect. I'll never be perfect. But this is what I'm doing to be the best version of myself that I can be.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
We'll give my final thoughts, and I will turn it over to Brother Carter to wrap up the show.
No, you wrap it up, show, brother.
Well, you guys have like final announcements and stuff like that?
Go ahead, Brother Carter.
No, we're gonna give it to the host.
All right. Well, then you go.
And so my final thoughts. First and foremost, thank you for hosting the show today. Secondly, I'd like to say that we don't have enough time to really expose everything we wanted to expose on today's show. There's a lot to talk about. So what I will leave you with, and I'd like to leave you with a scripture to the men out there particularly, and it's actually for all people. So it's come from the book of Romans chapter 12, verse 1, 2, and possibly 3. The scripture said, I beseech you, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And this is the kicker that I want you to get. But be not conformed to your former way of thinking, but be ye transformed day by day by the renewing of your mind. And so we have to get to a place where we can stop making excuses by changing our thought process and start thinking differently of ourselves and seeing ourselves as in a place as we are toxic individuals that need to get out of this toxicity area in our lives. You can do that by transforming, renewing your mind day by day. It's not going to happen overnight. So that's what it's a process, day by day. So we love you, man. God bless y'all. We'll talk to you next week.
All right. Well, I tell you what, this has been an incredible experience hosting the Love and Victory show today. I've told so many people about this coming out here, like, what are you doing this weekend? So I'm flying to Houston to host the Love and Victory show. and that's a conversation starter, because that's, people don't know what the Love and Victory show is. It gives me an opportunity to spread the word and talk about personal development and growth and what we're doing to try to improve the world a little bit. Right?
That's awesome, man.
And it's so powerful. And I was thinking this morning when I got up that, this is getting up. I woke up at 5 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and 20 years ago, I would have been hungover and not going to do anything on Saturday. Wow. And today I got up feeling good, and I came in here and I hosted the Love and Victory show with Val. And is an incredible change of life, right? Everything about my life is so different. And the more time I spend, they say you're the average of the 5 closest people around you, right? The more time I spend with people like you, the more uplifted and better I become as a human being.
Wow.
And it's just every time I have one of these moments, I want to have another one because it's so powerful to me. So I want to thank you guys for being a part of my life and helping me grow into a better version of who I am. Wow. And I want to tell everybody in the world, right into the camera out there, that if you are not happy with where your life is at today, you have the power to change that. You can grow, you can change, and it doesn't happen overnight, but you can start making small steps today that tomorrow will be results that you can't imagine.
Yes.
So life can be wonderful. Mine is, and I hope that yours will be too. And we'd like to thank you all for tuning in to the Love and Victory Show today.